now that I've got you, I wanted to take the opportunity to just sort of ask you a little bit about your journey to net zero. And I suppose initially, what was the main driving force? What was the main reason, priority for the club to start this journey?
Yeah, I think there's two main reasons. I think as any business operator should be, we want to be responsible and do the right thing for the environment. But also the secondary benefit is there's a cost saving to us, and we were, like every business, experiencing sort of quite high increases throughout the business. And when we started to look at what the benefits were, it was clear it was the only way forward for us to do, really.
Right. And how did you find that process, in terms of tackling it and starting the journey in the first place? Because we appreciate, obviously, dealing with lots of different companies, is that everyone's on a very different trajectory, or maybe different experiences. So how was it for you guys?
Yeah, I think this was an area I knew nothing about, and I think our initial chats were really important to understand what it was about, really. And as a manager, I've always looked at kind of the actual cost, whereas this was a bit more, I didn't trying to equate a monetary invoice to how much usage for electricity, for example. So getting your expertise was really, really useful. I think the key for us was establishing that baseline. So, using the portal to capture all the data, to come out with a figure of what actually we were using per year, and that's our starting point.
Yeah, fantastic.
I think I was a novice at this because I just didn't know a huge amount about it. So
yeah, I think a lot of people are in the same situation because, whilst everybody knows that they want to do the right thing and they want to tackle this, and it's an important subject, it's what do I do? What's relevant to me and what's appropriate for us to look at? So yeah, that was good, and it was nice that we could really look at this from all angles. And I think we were talking a little bit before about where you see emissions, think pound signs, and if you can reduce our emissions, we can reduce our costs.
Of course, yes.
So do you want to, in terms of some of the benefits that you've had from going through this process, do you want to just sort of describe a little bit about what Kings Norton have been able to achieve by tackling this?
Yeah, I think by having that baseline and the understanding, it was quite clear our biggest usage was electricity. So we looked at different avenues on how we could reduce our consumption. We did some very simple things that literally, I think 99% of our bulbs are LED. We installed high quality PIR sensors into all our public areas, so lights aren't being left on for any long period of time.
And that adds up, doesn't it?
It does actually. If you look at the cost per light bulb, it isn't a lot, but when you have 100 light bulbs on for several hours, it starts to mount up, and then obviously every day is expensive, then every week is even more expensive. So trying to do the small things were really important to us. We've also looked at some of the sort of bigger items. So we're quite a big site. We've got 42 floodlights or bollard lights around the building, which do use electricity. And we had no way of sort of controlling them efficiently. So we had a bespoke system made that we can control it with an app on the phone. So we can schedule it for our needs when we're open. And if anything changes, we can turn them off within a second, as opposed to having to go and set individual timers for each day. I think we had 5, and we had to you had to climb into bushes to change them. It was awful. But the system is fantastic, and it was fairly inexpensive, but it's paid for itself well within a year.
Which is brilliant.
And we're going to get those benefits year on year now. It's there.
Yeah.
There's no further investment there, but we're going to get those benefits.